morning. Well, let me get my mic over here. I'm not used to this talking to a camera. It's not real new to me, but it is new to me because I don't do notes and I don't have a teleprompter and I kind of just give you raw video basically. And if somebody's watched me before, they know that my editing skills are not that great. You know, at 78, in fact, I just turned 78 years old, and I still like to work. I like to work hard. I don't have all the skills that young people have, and even middle age. I consider myself, God, I'm aged. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, I'm Dr. Mark. I'm an animal advocate. Have been for about 8 years. I've run a rescue for 10 years, and I'm a published author of course, all things animals. That's my passion. I have 2 channels. One channel is called Pawsitive Personals. That channel involves short stories, pet tips, from anything from health care to how to take care of your pet at home, to grooming, you name it, we talk about it. I have about, I guess, almost 50 videos on different aspects of animals that I've enjoyed doing and putting up, and I hope to have many more. And so anyway, if you're interested, you might want to go to Pet Personals. It's on a YouTube channel, and certainly I always appreciate people subscribing and liking the videos. And not all videos are liked by everybody, but if you see something that you like or don't like, I appreciate the comment. Please do. Please comment. And because I'm always trying to do things better as I learn, and I'm certainly in a learning course. My other channel is called Pet News USA Editor. Well, this is good or bad. Just things that I put on that channel. Abuse, neglect. You know, there's good things and then there's bad things. And I try not to. I don't really try to put any type of pictures or describe things where they are offensive to people. I'm one of those animal lovers. I know it exists. I've been doing animal investigations and writing about animals for a long time. I know it exists. Do I want to see it? No, I do not want to see it. Be honest with you, I don't have to see it. I already can imagine, and it's just hard on me. And I talk to a lot of people. You know, they show these scenes of animals, and it's certainly a reality that it happens. But in my own mind and many others that love animals, these are hard to watch. I'd rather watch things that are positive. And I'm more likely to give to people that do things that are positive for animals, take care of them and what have you, than to say, show me a picture of horrifying things about animals, because I don't even usually stay on the channel. I don't know where you're at. To me, again, it's 10:30 here in the morning, so whatever time zone you're in, it could be at night and what have you. I'm certainly glad that and appreciate you tuning in to watch. And despite my age, I do try to talk with some sense of what I know what I'm doing. You know, sometimes with our age, sometimes you forget. I do a lot of work here. I'm on my farm, which is in Louisiana. I do own an animal rescue farm. I have about, at the present time, I have about 50 animals, both farm animals and domestic animals. So lots of dogs, donkeys, goats, chickens. And if you've watched my video before, I've actually showed pictures of my farm. And so anyway, people have some idea of where I live and what I do. Excuse me. Today, though, I want to talk about animals in terms of the abuse and neglect. Again, no offensive picture, but I want to start with government first. You know, in my years of working with animals, you know, and government has been a real issue with me, whether it's on a state or a local level. It's been an extreme issue with me. It almost seems like animals to the government are invisible. They don't, in my opinion, particularly where I live, they don't seem to recognize animals as being sentient animals for whatever reason. They don't seem to recognize animals at all. We here in the parish that I live in, we don't even have animal ordinances, which I've tried to work to get for a long time. I've been in this parish, Washington Parish, for about going on 6 years now, and I have certainly approached our local representatives about asking about animal ordinances, which is still not done. Don't even know if they will get done. The other thing is that I don't think it's unique to my parish or any county. If you are the same in wherever you at, parish or county, and if you don't have animal ordinance for your parish, or you feel like your government is not supporting animal rights, I'd really like to know. And if you can make a comment, just tell me where you are, where you're located at. I'd just like to know, get some sense of, and hopefully that there are some governments that really, truly work hard to take care of and help and work with animals to give them the rights that they deserve. The other thing I'd like to talk about is law enforcement. You know, in many cases, I'm a former deputy sheriff, former police officer, many years ago, of course. I've been retired from that for a long time. Animals was never a issue, or the laws never seemed to get enforced. And I don't think it's different from anywhere. There are some states that do actually have animal police officers, which I find refreshing and great. But I would think for the most part, in my opinion, that many of our states and local governments, they have no provisions for animals and their rights. They don't enforce the laws. We may have laws, we may have state laws, and most of our states do have state laws against animal abuse. There's no doubt about that. But do we enforce those laws? I would say no. And if you got a different opinion from me, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what state again. Where are you at? Where does our government, both state and local, particularly local, and the law enforcement in that town, do they really take animal abuse seriously? Do they really go after those who abuse animals? I'm going to say probably not. But I would also like you to let me know that if they do, man, I'm happy to hear that. I'm extremely happy to hear that. Law enforcement as a whole, and even when I was in law enforcement many years ago, of course, we never took animal calls seriously. We did not. Now, for me, I always did. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've had a lot of careers, but animals is my passion. When I retired, I immediately went into working as an animal rescuer, starting out with a foster-based rescue in Florida. I was living in Pompano Beach, Florida, when I started my animal foster-based rescue. After about 7 years, I decided to move to Louisiana, where I have a farm now that I do take on animals here. We take care of them, and we've had a number of animals. We've had over 100 plus animals here, where we have spent a lot of time and effort and monies and getting animals up to speed and for adoption purposes. And we have had a lot of animals adopted out. We've had a lot of animals transported up north. So we've been instrumental in getting a lot of that done. Of course, things have slowed down quite a bit. Um, the economy has really hurt animal shelters and animal rescues and trying to find homes for animals. It's become so difficult. And unfortunately, many animals find themselves in shelters and find themselves euthanized, and that's a real unfortunate thing. But again, it goes back to the government not supporting animals. It goes back to law enforcement not enforcing the laws, which would help a great deal. The other thing is churches. You know, where I live at, we have churches on every corner. I mean, absolutely every corner. I go into several churches here when I first came here just to see whether or not that animals were supported. I find that was not the case. In fact, you hear nothing about animals in churches. It's almost like, again, for the government, the animals are invisible. They don't matter. It just seems like they just don't matter. And as Christians and wanting to help God's creations, you would think that we would be more involved with animals in our churches. We have so many community churches, and I think community churches need to get involved, not only with people but with animals, in helping both. We're all God's creations, and unfortunately, that's not the case. I mean, I don't even hear preachers, pastors, whatever you want to designate, your clergymen. I can't remember even hear a prayer for animals. Not even a prayer, much less a donation or asking the congregation to do what we can to help the animals within our community. I just don't hear it. And it's unfortunate because it's somewhat made me a little bit bitter toward churches, because I do think churches need to get involved in helping those in the community. And we take donations for our churches to build buildings that we may not need, but do I ever hear a donation for animals? So let's go out and spend one day a month doing something for animals. There are a lot of people who find themselves in economic straits who have animals as part of their family. We as churches should be trying to help those people with help, not only help to feed them or help them around their home, but actually donate monies toward or give food to help these people with their pets. Pets are family members. For people who are pet lovers, pets are true family members, and they need support. And I really do believe that's where our churches fail. So, you know, my whole thing is here today is to ask congregation, the pastors of churches, law enforcement, the government, to take a look inside themselves and ask yourself, am I doing everything that I can to help my community, both people and animals? We're all here together. We all need help. And for government and law enforcement and churches to ignore and absolutely ignore our population, human, animal, it's just unreal to me. You know, if you have any sense of humanity at all, then we need to give much more effort into helping our community. And again, that, to me, community includes people and animals. You know, some people say, well, and I even said that myself, sometimes I care a lot more about animals than people, but that's, in all essence, that's not true. I love people and animals, but I see so much hurt in vengeance toward animals and people just not caring and discarding them and throwing them away like they're nothing. And these animals, they're sentient beings. They feel pain. They have all kinds of emotions. Love, pain, hurt, you name it. They got it. But we as people, sometimes they'll say, oh, they're just animals. you know, we, as humans, we have a real issue with this. It's a real issue with this. Um, and by the fact that we as humans, I'm hurt by the fact that we, with the intelligence that we have and the resources that we should have to be able to help animals, but we don't. And we don't. And I'm really, and there are many people, rescues like myself, and some shelters that really truly have the best intentions for our animals. But if we don't get our local government behind us, if we don't get our churches behind us, and we don't get law enforcement behind us, nothing's going to change. I mean, nothing. Do we not care because, well, animals don't vote, so do we not care? We should care about being a human being. We should care about all things that live and breathe, and just because they're different from us and they don't speak like we do. What gives us the right to condemn a beautiful animal that means no harm, that brings us lots of joy? I want people to think about that. And I'm hoping that in some small way this video will help change your mind. You start looking at animals with a lot more empathy than we have right now. I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And I'm hoping in some small way that this video will change your heart. Until I see you on another one of my videos, I appreciate you taking the time out to listen to this one. Thank you. I'm Dr. Mark.